What's up, guys? As you can see, I'm at the Village, which is a skate park in the city of Paramount, California, and this is going to be the first How-To Tuesday that I've done that's on location. The reason for it is that a lot of you guys have been requesting tricks a little more advanced, so I needed somewhere better than my front yard. And the trick that we're going to break down today is the tail whip, which has probably been the most requested trick since the bar spin, 360, and 180. So let's get to it. Alright, so for the tail whip, there's a couple prerequisites that I recommend you have kind of dialed. The first are 180s and 360s, and I recommend that you can do them on flat and out of transitions. The reason for that is that if you're comfortable spinning, then you'll also be comfortable whipping. It's kind of like the same concept because the 360 is you and your bike doing the full rotation, and a tail whip is the bike doing a 360. And then no footers help because obviously you get the idea of letting go of your bike and catch it. Alright, so once you have that dialed, it's time to try the tail whip. Alright, so when you go to the skate park, you want to find a transition that's kind of mellow, preferably one without any coping, that way you don't get any kind of buck. And then you also want to start kind of getting the motion of a tail whip down, so it really does help to kind of like stand next to your bike and just start whipping it around. And basically what you're doing is, I'm left foot forward, so I'm going to kick the tail whip with my right foot, which is in the back. And with my arms, I'm going to be doing kind of like a sweeping motion. So you're going to kind of like extend outward and then a little bit downward, and that gets the bike about 180 degrees. Once it's here, the momentum of you kicking the bike around will swing it around, and then you have to kind of like yank it back under you. So you do that with a motion like something like this. Another thing that's kind of helpful before you actually try it out of a transition is to kind of lay on your back and to swing the bike around in the form of a tail whip. This is a little dangerous because if you don't do it right, then the bike can fall on you, so be careful. But you basically hold the bike up above your head while you're laying on your back. You kick the back end, and then you use your arms to kind of like hold it up while you're swinging it. But this gives you the motion of swinging the tail whip around, catching the pedals, and maintaining like a balanced position over your bike. Alright, so now that you have the basic concept in your head, let's try it out of a transition. So like I said, the first thing you want to do is find kind of like a mellow transition, preferably one with no coping. Then what you're going to want to do is approach the transition at a speed as if you're going to do a 360. So for some people that might be 2 or 3 pedals, for some people that might be 1, depending on your pump and depending on the transition. Once you have that idea in your head, then you want to like start the tail whip motion. So the first thing you do is, again, I'm left foot forward, my right foot is in the back, and I'm going to be kicking the tail whip clockwise, so that's to the right. So what I'm going to do is do a small no footer. My right back foot is going to kick the back end, nothing too hard that's going to throw you off axis. When you're doing this motion, you want to be leaning slightly forward. A lot of people try and lean back because obviously you're learning the trick, so you're trying to clear your feet from getting stubbed, or if you're not going to land it, you're going to be able to want to run away. But when you're actually ready to commit, you want to be slightly leaned forward, and that helps the bike be in a level position so that when you're spinning the whip, it's not fighting gravity. You don't want to whip upwards because that's harder. And then when it's coming down, it's going to come down faster and kind of out of control. And then you're going to be landing way back tire heavy and loop out. So again, it's really important to be balanced over the bars. Then once you let go and the whip is coming around, ideally you're going to want to spot the pedals. But initially, you're going to be able to land next to the bike. So as you can see here, I've done a couple where I land next to the bike. Once you're landing next to the bike pretty comfortably, that's a good sign that you're whipping the tail whip around comfortably. The next step is getting your right foot over the frame and getting your left foot on the pedal. So what I recommend for this is, as the bike's coming around, you want to look at the pedals. And the first thing you want to do is have the bike come to you. You don't want to go to the bike, because I see a lot of people like under rotate tail whips and try to hop on the pedals. What you want to do is lift your right foot over and have the bike come under you and bring it into your left pedal. So you should be staring at your left pedal first. Once that's getting on, then the right pedal. All right, some troubleshooting advice. If you notice that you're rotating the whip around, but you're nowhere near it, it means you're not going high enough. So just go a little faster at the quarter pipe and just focus on getting the bike underneath you. Even if it's just like right to the right of you or to the left of you. Obviously, if it goes to the left, that means you over-rotated. And if it's on the right side of you, that means that it's under-rotating a little bit. So again, just go a little higher and be a little more controlled. A lot of these tricks just have to do with a lot of confidence. So just know that you can get the bike around. Another troubleshooting tip, if you're not catching the pedals, that means you're not looking at them. So again, when the bike is spinning around, you're gonna wanna be really focused on the pedals. Something that really helps is that when you're kicking the pedals, keep your feet really close together. You wanna do almost like a little no-footed can-can motion, and that helps you because your feet together without wailing around help you be centered and leveled. And then when the bike is coming around, you just have to kind of like do a little bit of a split to get it over the top tube and onto the pedals. And then lastly, if you're really struggling all around, I would recommend going to a foam pit or a dirt jump or somewhere where you feel more comfortable than straight concrete or wood, and just really committing to the spin and the rotation. You know, like you're basically forcing the bike to do a 360, so there's gonna be a lot of centripetal force and, you know, momentum involved. So it's just kind of like getting the concept out. But I'm gonna do a couple more tailwhips here to kind of give you guys an idea of where to hop, where to stop, pop, kick, and then kind of catch the bike. Alright, so just to recap, you're going to want to leave the transition at the speed you would any other jumping trick. So whether it be a 360, a bar spin, a turn down, whatever. Then once you're in the air, you're going to want to level out. So you want both tires pretty even, or you want the back tire to be just slightly below the front tire. Then as soon as you're doing this, you're going to want to start doing the kicking motion. So that means that your right foot, if your left foot forward, is going to be kicking the back end. If you're goofy footed, it's going to be pulling the back end, and your front foot is actually going to have to like slide a little bit back and kick the frame, kind of like near this triangle area. So your foot will kind of kick here, and it's going to be the same motion after that. You're going to just want to swing your arms, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, but that motion is what's going to make the tailwhip come around. Like I said, you're going to want to practice that a few times, kind of like getting the idea of like you want to do some kind of like butter churning motion. And then once the bike's coming around, you're going to want to stare at the pedals, and again, if you're left foot forward, you're going to want to make sure your right foot goes over, but you want the bike to come to your left foot. You want to hop on with the left foot and then bring the right foot on at the end. Simple as that. So as you can see from these takes, I've demonstrated a few different tailwhip variations, you know, like hop whipping into stuff, whipping across things, into transitions, and then the old flat whip, which is kind of hard on my knees, so I try not to do it a lot. But once you have the concept down on a fly out, you can take it to anything. And it's a super fun trick. You could do them up to 4 or 5 times, back flips, front flips, you name it, it's endless. So hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Like always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and tune in for tomorrow's episode where we do something with Adam22, and I think he's building a new bike, so I know you guys like those bike builds. All right guys, thanks as always, peace.